Boundaries are important everywhere, and I feel like every question that I get, the answer is always set a boundary. Be clear on your boundary. Let's talk about boundaries. So let's talk about boundaries, baby. Welcome to the Medium in the Middle podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, the Medium in the Middle. On this podcast, I share my journey as a developing psychic medium, as a Reiki master teacher, as an Akashic record practitioner, and anything else that's thrown my way. Join me every week. I release new episodes every Tuesday. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Medium in the Middle podcast. My name is Stephanie. I am the Medium in the Middle. Welcome to episode 70. Holy moly, episode 70. This feels like a milestone, but I also feel that whenever I hit 50, 60, 70, 80, it feels like a big deal. But 70 episodes of Medium in the Middle, 70 episodes of sharing my story. I feel like we've come a long way. We've zigzagged, we've turned, we've gone up, we've gone down, and here we are. So thank you for being with me on this journey. If you're new, welcome. I have so enjoyed sharing my spiritual awakening, my journey, my experience with mediumship, with Reiki, with Akashic records. Now we're adding Psych K. I mean, it seems like so much has happened over the year and a half, but sometimes it almost feels like life is in slow-mo, especially the energy this past week. I know we have all been feeling it. Last week was something else. I don't know where the planets were. I don't know what was happening. I know Mercury went into retrograde, but this was a different kind of something. And I was really feeling like I was living in the Matrix. Like one day felt like it was 3 days. I was like, was it this morning? Was it last month? I don't know. I was receiving so many messages that everybody was feeling off, overwhelmed, under the weather. Like I almost felt like I was like running in honey. And everyone's like, what is happening? And I don't know what happened. I don't know. I don't know what the planets were doing. I just think it was one of those weeks. Like it was just super weird. So on Friday, I definitely felt the energy starting to shift. So I hope you're having a good week so far. I'm definitely feeling better. I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling more clear. I feel like I have a greater understanding. I feel like the fire is back. But last week was, it was an interesting experience to say the least. So lots of big updates, lots of big awareness and learnings, you could say, that had happened. I feel like things were fast-tracked, things were slowed down, and through all of this, I decided to cancel the awakening. And I know, you're like, Steph, last week you talked to us for an hour about the awakening, and what? And yes, I decided to cancel the course. I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling like I was doing too much. I was feeling stretched thin. I'm releasing Psych K. I'm releasing more Reiki energy courses. And then there was the course. And then people were wanting still one-on-one. And I was like, I cannot do it all. Right now, I am one person who loves what I do, and I feel like if I just keep adding and adding to my plate, something's got to give, and that something was the course. So thank you for all your interest. Thank you to everybody, but I'm sharing my wins, and I don't even want to say my fails with you, but I am sharing, like, I guess this. I don't view it as a failure. I don't view it as a negative experience. I view it as a huge learning experience. I learned so much, and I really learned that I have to do things out of passion and out of alignment, and I can't just always do things that people ask for. So yes, I love teaching, but I love teaching Reiki, and I love teaching the meetings in the middle, and I love all of that. And I was just really, I want to say, like, anxious about the course, and it was going to be so much work, and it was 2 months, and it was all these people, and I just had to say no to something, and saying no is so hard. So I had a really big week of launching a course and then unlaunching it. So, wow. So yeah, some people might be like, that's a failure or that's a waste of time, but it wasn't. And definitely when I told my business manager that all the work we've been doing for the past 2 months, I was just canceling, She deer in headlights me for a few minutes, but she was like, if this is what you want, like if you've thought about it, and we had really good discussions about it, and it just feels good. Like I feel like I can keep doing the things that I love and growing in that way. But sometimes we're always focused on growth, and not everything has to be about growth. I'm very happy with where I am, what I'm doing, my day to day. I love doing sessions with you guys online. I love doing sessions in person. I just opened a business in November in Banff. Like, there's so many things that are happening, so many things that I love, and I feel so grateful to do them all. So, I can't do everything at once. Big lesson. I'm still human and I want a life, even though we're in lockdown right now and I feel like I should work all the time because I have nothing else to do. Eventually, one day, we'll be able to go out and see our friends and do things again. And I just want to have the time and space for that. And well, right now I'm working on having one day off and that seems hard enough. Like, eventually, I'll need 2 days off a week. But probably not. But there's goals. So, yeah, I want to share that with you guys and be completely transparent. I don't feel like it's a negative. I love learning lessons and I love kind of looking on the bright side and taking things away. And honestly, I feel so good with the decision. I asked my pendulum, I did all the things to double check. And it was like, yeah, you had big lessons to learn here. And yes, you need to make the hard decisions. And you are the one, when you run your own business, I'm the one to do everything. I'm the one to decide yes. I'm the one to decide no. I'm the one to decide, is it too much? Is it not enough? Do I need more? Do I need less? No one else is going to tell me any of that. I don't have a boss that I can run things by. It's me having a conversation with myself at dinner by myself. So, yeah, I want to share that with you because you guys know I'm open and I'm honest and I share the good and I share the bad. And while I don't think this was a bad, I definitely feel like other people might see it that way. And when everyone is like, how's the launch? How's the course? And I'm going to be like, I canceled it. And this is why. And I'm fully fine to talk about it because I think these things need to be shared. We shouldn't have to feel ashamed or embarrassed about this. I'm fully owning what I did and what I decided. And it's best for me. And I feel so good about it. And I feel like it also gives me space to continue doing what I'm doing in a good headspace, in a good mindset. So, yeah, I wanted to share that with you guys. I'm not going to delete last week's episode. I still feel like it was relevant for the time and it does still talk about the awakening and I do still think that's important. But if you are looking for help, I am not your person right now. Unfortunately, I can do Reiki with you. I can do Akashic Records with you. I can now do Psych K with you. Ta-da-ta-da! Psych K is live. You can make an appointment with me. I'm so excited. Let's reprogram your brain. Let's work with your subconscious and conscious mind. Bring them together. Oh my gosh. Psych K is live. I'm very excited. You can make an appointment on my website, themediuminthemiddle.com. Obviously, the links are below. So I'm super excited to do all that. And I just feel really good about the decision. So I'm happy about it. In other very exciting news, we have Reiki courses that are live. You guys have been waiting for today. They are up. We have Reiki Level 1, March 14th and 15th. We have Reiki Level 2, March 27th and 28th. Both of these courses are held fully online via Zoom. They're Saturday, Sunday courses. All the information that you need is on the website. These will move fast. So if you're thinking about it, like by the end of the week, they'll be gone. When these sell out, I am launching more. I love teaching Reiki. I love, love, love teaching Reiki. And I want to share this with you all. And I love how much interest there is. So if these dates don't work for you, there's more coming. And this is really where I feel like I love it. And this is my groove. So while I had to give up the Awakening course, I do not want to give up Reiki. And if I can teach Reiki forever for the rest of my life, I would be so happy. So that is going to continue, but they are live. Link is down in the show notes if you want to register. You can also register from Instagram, anywhere at Medium in the Middle. That is all available. So I decided to pull 2 cards today for our card pull. What do we need to know, universe? What do we need to be reminded of? I definitely am needing a little bit of guidance, but I'm feeling good. So today I pulled from 2 decks, and not my enchanted map deck. Again, 2 weeks in a row. I'd still love it, but I'm trying new things, guys. I'm trying here. So the first card that I pulled was from the Wild Offering Oracle card deck. And this one just has like a really nice word and then saying, I guess, or I'm going to read it. If you want to see these cards, follow me on Instagram at Medium in the Middle. I always post them. But this one is solitude. Once you embrace the inner divine in your own sacred solitude, the right people arrive at the right time, exactly on schedule, without forcing or chasing. Woohoo! Okay, and card number 2 was from the Rebecca Campbell Work Your Light Oracle card deck. I am really digging this deck recently. I've been called to it. I wanted it for a long time, and then I finally ordered it. So now that I have it, I'm really enjoying it. And it's a beautiful deck. So this one I pulled is Get Grounded. Empaths, highly sensitive, connect with nature. You are being called to get grounded, to ensure that your luminous field is clear and your inner well is full. If you're not grounded, it's all too easy to get swept up in other people's energy and mistake it for your own. Your boundaries will become blurred as you are absorbing the energies around you and struggling to define what is their stuff and what is yours. Okay, I mean, how perfect is this for today's episode? If you pulled this card, you are very likely an empath or a highly sensitive person and need time alone to fill up your well, balance your energy, and get grounded. There are 2 types of people, those who draw their energy from others and those who draw their energy from within. Reflect on which one you are and carve out time each day to ensure your well is being replenished. Being sensitive is a superpower, but like all powers, it needs to be nurtured in order to be fulfilled. It's easy to get swept up in the high-frequency energies that are swirling around the planet. The quickest and most effective way of clearing all of this from your field is to ground yourself by connecting with Mother Earth. There are many ways to get grounded. One of the most powerful ones is to practice earthing by connecting to the power of Mother Earth. Spend time in nature, put your hands on a tree, your palms are an extension of your heart chakra, or walk barefoot on the earth. Okay. Love this. Love this, love this, love this. So it definitely ties in with today's topic, today's theme. We are talking boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. So you guys have been in my DMs this past month about boundaries. And I keep saying like, oh, I have an episode about this. And while I do, I think it's episode 50, I want to talk more about this. And I want to go a little bit deeper because everyone's like, what are boundaries? How do you set boundaries? Like, this is happening to me. This is happening to me. What do I do? Let's talk about it because boundaries are important with spirit. Boundaries are important with your personal life, with your professional life. Boundaries are important everywhere. And I feel like every question that I get, the answer is always set a boundary. Be clear on your boundary. Let's talk about boundaries. So let's talk about boundaries, baby. So I went to Instagram and I asked you guys, what do you have problems with setting boundaries? Where do you find the disconnect? What is the maybe issues that you're having? So I'm going to answer the questions that were submitted. First, I want to talk about setting boundaries. We're going to talk about setting boundaries with spirit because I know I say this all the time, but I just want to repeat it before I get into all these answers. You need to be stern. Setting boundaries is like manifesting. You need to be specific, you need to know what you want, and you need to repeat it over and over and over again. It was funny, I was teaching a Reiki course a few weeks ago, and they were asking about boundaries, and I said, you need to say it like you mean it, because if there is any wiggle room in your boundaries, spirit will know. They're kind of like children. Like, when you know that you can push the envelope with mom because when she said no, she didn't really mean no. It's the same with spirit. So I was like, you don't just say, hey, spirit, like I'm going to bed, leave me alone. You're not allowed in my bedroom. No, it's like, hey, spirit, I'm going to bed. You are not allowed in my bedroom. You are not allowed to wake me up. You are not allowed to dance in my windows. You are not permitted to come in my dreams. Say it like you mean it. And it was funny because when I was telling the group, I kind of like yelled. I'm also like, I'm Lebanese, so I yell like to get things, the point across. I yell. and I kind of yelled on the class, and I saw all these little heads like on Zoom. They moved back and their eyes went wide and they were like, whoa. And I was like, oh, I didn't mean to yell. But when you set a boundary, say it like you mean it. I yell because that works for me. The one time that I saw spirit, like a physical premonition, the one and only time in my whole entire life this will happen because I am not allowing it to happen again. I sat up in my bed after I literally saw a ghost yelling no. I was like, no, 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 no. I am not seeing spirit. No, no. I like the way it is now. You can come to me in my my mind's eye. I can have a feeling. I can have a knowing. I am not seeing you. No, this is not happening again. No. It was 3 a.m. and I was at home yelling no. So you need to find what works for you. For me, yelling works. I will literally yell in my house, no. And when I say things, it's like I'm angry. You cannot wake me up in the middle of the night. You cannot come into my house, spirit, unless I am working. You are not allowed to bother me in my dreams and wake me up. So this isn't, you're not allowed to bother me in my dreams and wake me up. But like, if you really have a message, you can like just tell me and I'll maybe see it. No. No. Everyone say it with me. No. I also kind of love that this is on a podcast, so I know you can tell the difference in the tone of my voice. But that is how I set my boundaries. And yes, you have to be clear. You have to be specific. You have to be like, hey, I'm going to the grocery store. No spirits. Hey, I'm going to yoga. My bubble. No one is allowed to bother me. Hey, friends are coming over. We're shutting her down. Hey, I'm going to sleep. You can't sit on my bed. You can't go into my window. You can't go into my mirror. You can't have a shining light over there. So be specific. Be specific about how they can and can't come in for spirit. For your also energetical boundaries too. What are you willing to feel? What are you willing to not feel? Some people are like, oh, like if a spirit has a heart attack, like my heart hurts so much I can barely talk. It's like, okay, let me know that you died from a heart attack. I don't need to feel that way for the whole 45-minute reading. Thank you. Got it. Bye. I'm going to go to the questions and see what you guys were asking about. So the first question is, I still have trouble with boundaries. Any suggestions? So outside of what I just said, being specific, if you're really having trouble with them, I would write them down. This is very similar to like goals and manifesting. So everything that you would apply to goals and manifesting, apply for your boundaries. Write them down. Be specific. Say them to yourselves often. Know what you want and don't want. Know what your boundaries are. Like you literally have to repeat them to yourself like law. And you have to repeat them over and over again. So you can't just say once, spirit's not allowed in my house, and then you think you're good for the rest of your life. No, if you notice a little tinkle somewhere, if you notice a little dance in the window, it's like, hey, you guys know you're not allowed in here. Back up. Get out. So treat it like a goal. Treat it like a manifesting. It's the same thing, but the opposite. So you want to set your boundaries. You want to know what they are clearly, and you want spirit to know what they are clearly, or other people to know what they are clearly. There was a few questions in here about like setting personal boundaries. So a few times it's like, what about when your boundaries collide with another person's boundaries? So for example, like if you only talk by phone, but they only want to talk by text. So I want to talk about this because it did come up a few times, and I think that setting your like spiritual boundaries and your boundaries with spirit are going to come up with personal boundaries as well. So when you are kind of running into the personal boundaries that are mixing with other people's personal boundaries, I would say it's at this time that you assess and you see what you're willing to bend and remove. Also, keeping in mind your own boundaries. So if you're like, hey, no, I don't text, I only talk on the phone, and they're like, well, I only text. It's like, okay, well, I'm not willing to write this out. So if you want to discuss it, you can call me. I mean, you can still keep your boundary if they're not willing to bend either, or you send a voice note. There's different things you can do, but there's certain things like you can set boundaries for literally anything. Like I only answer text messages before noon, and then I put my phone away for the rest of the day. If it's an emergency, call me. Don't text me an emergency. So I would be very mindful about what you're willing to give. And this is also kind of like, we talk about this on the Akashic Records a lot. Your cup of water, you can't just be throwing your cup of water at everybody else's plant and then wonder why you don't have any more water to water your plant. You have to be mindful of the water in your cup. So be mindful of what you're giving away. In the same way, be mindful of your energy. Imagine your energy is in your cup. What are you giving away? What are you keeping for yourself? What do you need? How much do you need left in your cup at the end of the day, week, month? And this isn't easy to do. This isn't something that you're just like, oh, I set my boundary. Now I'm just going to walk in the rainbows and lollipops and everything's going to be fine. You still have to do the work. You still have to move through it. You still have to repeat your boundary. You still have to set your boundary. You still have to be clear about your boundaries always. But when they're there, I like to compare it to laws. Just like the law is your boundary. Just like, you go 50 on the road. That is like your boundary. You don't test it. You don't do 100 just to see if the cop is going to catch you. You don't do these things. It's like, no, it's like law. Just do this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And before I move on to the other questions about this, someone asked about boundaries as an employee while you're working for someone else. And I think this still applies. I mean, okay, let me say it this way. I feel like with boundaries, people are always looking for wiggle room. It's like, what about this? What about this? Your boundaries aren't your boundaries if there's a bunch of what ifs, how abouts, what if that changes with this. No, your boundaries are law. The speed limit doesn't change just because it's sunny outside. You want to go somewhere a little slower or quicker today. The speed limit is the speed limit when you're on the road. Your boundary is your boundary for that situation. That's it. That's all. Like, don't even give me a but, what if, how about. That's not the point of the boundary. The point of the boundary is spirit isn't allowed in my house. I don't care if it's an emergency. Not my job. If it's an emergency, go talk to them. If the message is so important, find another way. I'm not the way when I'm sitting on my couch at home. No. So when you're trying to see these what ifs, how abouts, no, then that's not your boundary. Be clear and stern about your boundary. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean it, if you want these to work, you need to be tough with yourself. This kind of reminds me of, I do CrossFit, you guys know. And I've tried a lot of different diets just because I'm interested in macros and I'm interested in all of those things and, optimizing my performance with food. So I'm in a few different groups, and sometimes in those groups, women are always like, well, like, can I train when I'm on my period? And I always was like, someone's just looking for an excuse of someone to tell them, yes, when you're on your period, you don't have to train. It's when people are asking this question on these forums, I always think you're just asking for permission for someone else to tell you it's okay for you to not work out for a week. And I feel the same with boundaries. When you're asking all of these what ifs and how abouts, you're just asking me to give you permission to tell you that you don't need to hold your boundary strong. To give you permission that, okay, well, yeah, you can bend it for that. Okay, well, you can bend it for that. That's not a boundary then. That's like a weak noodle. Your boundary needs to be a fence, not a noodle. I wish I had a better analogy, but that's all I can think about right now. So yes, if you want to do a how about, what if this, we can go through all of those situations. And maybe some of them are something you would need to bend a boundary for. But 99% of them, maintain your boundary. It's there for a reason. And if it's not working for you, then adjust your boundary. If you want spirit in your house, welcome them. Open your door. Open your windows. Bring them in. Don't sleep. Don't have conversations with humans. Talk to spirit all day. If that's what you want, that's not what I want. I want to continue living my normal human life. My light switch is off until it's on. And it is off most of the time. You cannot come in my house. You can't come in my house. Doesn't matter who's here. Doesn't matter what message you have. Doesn't matter if you want to come in my dream. So when they start dancing in my windows, like when I talk about on Instagram, when they start flashing their lights, it's like, y'all know the rules. It's funny you think you want to get my attention. You have my attention. And I'm telling you, you know the rules. There's no bending for this. My rules are not in my home. When I'm in the office and my office in town, spirits welcome there. And they dance, they mess with the lights, they mess with my music, they mess with literally everything. And it's fine because they're allowed to be there. I'm not like, stop messing with the lights. I'm like, no, I said you could be here. I said you could do these things. That's fine. So you are in control of your boundaries. Set what works for you. If it's not working for you, readjust it. But if it's just looking for an excuse of why you want to bend your boundary, then that's why your boundaries aren't working, because you're always bending them. I feel like this is my hard love TED Talk today, but this applies for everywhere in life. If you want permission to not work out because you're on your period, why do you need someone else to say, okay, just don't do it? I don't know why that's always made me so mad, that question. I was like, are you waiting for someone else to give you permission to not work out? Be a human being, be an adult. If you don't feel good and you feel like you can't work out, don't work out. If you're looking for someone else to tell you it's okay to not work out just because you're on your period, get out of here. Like, we all are always looking for permission to do things. You're in control of your life. Take hold of it, take charge, set a boundary. And if you're going to break your boundary, own it and break your boundary. But that's up to you. Okay, let's get into some of the questions more about spirit and things like that. So this question said, I'm an HSP and an empath. So it's very hard to not internalize the emotions of others. Okay, good question. So yes, it is very hard, but a boundary can fix this. So what I like to say is it's not easy, guys. It's just like manifesting and your goals. You still have to be mindful of it. You still have to work towards this. Yes, it's not easy, but you have to do it if you want to not feel the emotions and internalize other people's things. I like to imagine an eggshell around me. So I'm not walking around with a big brick wall, but I have an eggshell around me. And I always say in my Reiki courses, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. When having doubts, when having trouble separating your emotions and other people's emotions, repeat to yourself, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. Or repeat, that's not mine, that's not mine, this doesn't belong to me, this headache is not mine, this headache is not mine, this headache is not mine, and say it until it goes away. You could be saying it for an hour. You could be saying it for 5 seconds. You get better at your boundaries. Now, when I say, thank you for letting me know you died of a heart attack, stop making me feel that way, literally in the snap of a finger, I stop feeling that way. Where I used to feel the heart attack for an hour and a half. I don't need to feel that. You don't need to feel other people's emotions. That's their stuff. What's yours is yours. What's mine is mine. Not mine. Not dealing with it. You might have to repeat this to yourself every single time you go out for the next 3 years. But do you want to feel other people's emotions every time you go out or not? I'm not saying it's going to take 3 years for your boundary to be set in place, but this doesn't happen overnight. This doesn't happen tomorrow. You still have to remind yourself. You're still flexing a muscle. You're still training yourself. You're still setting something up for your own boundary and protection. So yes, it is very hard. But you need to work on it if this is what you want. If you want to walk around and be feeling other people's emotions, go ahead. But if you don't, then you need a boundary, then you need to follow through. This isn't an easy walk in the park type of thing. This is still work. We still have to remind ourselves and say it often. Every time I go out, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. Every time I go to dinner, what's mine is mine, what's yours and yours. Why do I all of a sudden have a headache? This isn't mine. This isn't mine. Whose is it? Oh, it's hers. All right, that's fine. She has a headache. Am I going to Reiki her? I should Reiki her. No, don't Reiki her. You're at dinner. I should probably Reiki her. No, you're not Reikiing her. You're at dinner. Right. I'm at dinner. I'm not Reikiing her. Okay, it's not mine. It's not mine. It's not mine. It's not mine. Maybe I'm going to go to the bathroom and I'm going to keep saying it's not mine. Yeah, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Wash my hands. It's not mine. It's not mine. Whew, the headache finally went away. Okay, I'm going back to the table and I'm not going to pick up her headache. Yep, perfect. Got it. Go back to the table. Enjoy dinner. That is what I do. That's what works for me. Find what works for you. But that is my internal conversation. So it's not just like, that's not my headache, and then it just goes away. It's like, it's not my headache. It's not my headache. It's not my headache. I don't need to be feeling this. No, I'm not going to Reiki her. No, I'm not going to offer to fix her headache. It's not my problem. I can't fix everything. It's not my job. I also say to myself a lot, it's not my job. It's not my job to fix it. It's not my job. If you are a client coming to see me Monday at 2:30, then it's my job. If we are out to dinner and you are my friend and it is 7:30 p.m., it is not my job anymore. So I really liked this question. Can your higher self change your boundary without telling you, like to push you or level up? So no, they can't do that without telling you. But will they challenge you? Absolutely. Like I say, you can ask for something, but the universe will always put challenges in your way and lessons in the way for it to see what you will do. So if your boundary is, I don't want to feel other people's emotions, but now you're feeling other people's emotions all the time and you're like, what the hell? Why isn't my boundary working? You need to relook at it. Maybe you need to rework it. Maybe you need to level up. Maybe you need to change what you do. Maybe you need to add another layer. But this is now a challenge for you. This is now a lesson for you. This is now a learning for you. So you might be fine going out to dinner with people for the past year. You can go and sit at a table and not pick up other people's emotion because you are in your eggshell. You are you. They are they. It's like, this is perfect. Then all of a sudden it's been 3 dinners and you're like, whoa, what is all this energy? Why aren't my boundaries working anymore? Well, it's time to rework them. It's time to maybe add something to them. It's time to maybe relook at how you do certain things. It doesn't mean that we just throw everything to the wind. It means reevaluate. It means you're being challenged. And yes, you're probably leveling up, but in a way of you need to do something about it. You're not just carried up the ladder. You still have to climb. So you still have to do the work. You still have to be mindful of your boundary and what needs to be adjusted to work for you, right? This is all about you being able to live your life most comfortably, setting your boundaries so that you're in control. If you don't want that, don't set boundaries. If you want to better manage your emotions, your feelings, your anxiety, what you're feeling, what you're not feeling, what spirit's coming, when they're not coming, if you can go to yoga, if you can go to the grocery store, set your boundaries, my friend, set your boundaries. So this was a good one. After setting my boundaries daily, some nights I'm still woken up by spirit. Am I doing something wrong? So no, you're not doing something wrong, but I would say this would be another example of when you're being challenged to maybe add something to your boundary. So yes, sometimes I am still woken up in the middle of the night, or sometimes I have dreams, or sometimes all these things. In the morning, I reset that boundary very clearly. Then the next day when I go to bed, it's like, hey guys, you woke me up last night. Not tonight. Do we forget the rules? Did we forget them? Because I didn't. And here they are, just to remind you, you cannot wake me up in the middle of the night. You cannot come to my dreams. Yell it, write it down. Say it to yourself when you wake up. Say it to yourself when you go to bed, whatever you need to do. But in this case, I would say you're probably needing to add a layer. They're probably seeping through somehow. So just be mindful of what you need. It's not that you're doing something wrong. It just might be similar to the other question. You're leveling up now where you need another layer. You need something else there. So I suppose in summary, if you're having trouble setting boundaries, be more stern, be specific, repeat them as often as you need, and figure out what boundaries you need for you. Because everyone's going to be different. You can want spirit in your house. You can want visitation in your dreams or whatever it may be. So it's going to be definitely dependent on what kind of boundaries you're willing to set, what you're wanting to set. So figure out what works for you. What do you need? What do you need to feel good and normal as you go throughout your day? This really is all up to you. So you're in charge. And just be sure once you decide and hold yourself accountable to that. So it's similar to manifesting in that you have to decide, be specific, and then repeat it. Same with your boundaries. I still have to repeat my boundaries all the time. When I go out, I know we're not going out really that much, but when I start going out again and I'm like reintroduced to humans, I'm going to have to relearn how to like protect my energy or how to not absorb other people's energies because I've been at home alone all the time. So of course those boundaries have been let go or relaxed a little bit. Whereas now I'm going to have to remember what it's like being around other people more often. So know that your boundaries are flexible, they can change, they can ebb, they can flow, but you're always in charge. So always know that you have the power. That's really, really important. And know that you are in charge over spirit. Spirit does not get to decide how they communicate with you, how they tell you things. You are in charge. The day my mentor told me that, I was like, what? I have control? I thought I was just like a pawn in the system. So I hope this helps. Boundaries have been coming up a lot recently in my DMs and conversations, people not knowing about it. So I wanted to talk about it because it is going to be an important part of your development, of your journey, of knowing what you need, what you don't need, what boundaries you need to set, adjust, move, flex, not flex, what are your hard boundaries, what are not. I mean, this also applies to your life as well. But of course, ones with spirit are easier because you don't have to compromise at all as if you were working with other people, your colleagues, anything like that. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope you are able to go out there and set your boundaries and feel good and be able to do all the things without any consequences, without spirit bothering you. So, thank you for listening to this episode. If you are an iTunes user, I would love and appreciate a rating and a review. It just takes less than a minute of your time and it really helps me out in the podcast world. So, thank you so much. Again, if you want to register for Reiki, all the links will be down below in the show notes, as well as everything for appointments, finding me on social. Let's stay connected. I'm pretty funny on Instagram, I think. Like to deliver a laugh or two. So join us over there. There's a party on Instagram. Wishing you guys a great week. Happy Tuesday. And I will see you next Tuesday. If you haven't already, you can subscribe and I will pop up in your library every Tuesday. Thank you for listening. Bye.